आओगे? अच्छा, ओके। मैं और एक बार बोल रही हूँ, जो लोग लेट आए हैं पार्टिसिपेंट ग्रुप्स में जाइए, हमने सारे सोशल मीडिया लिंक्स शेयर किए हुए हैं। आई वांट एवरीबडी टू फॉलो दोज पेजेस एंड लाइक ऑल द पोस्ट्स, मतलब जो आपको पसंद आए ऑब्वियसली, बट लाइक सो दैट वी कैन टैग यू लेटर। इज इट क्लियर? यूट्यूब लाइव का लिंक हर पोस्ट में है, सो एटलीस्ट वो लिंक आप कॉपी करके अपने अपने हैंडल्स में पोस्ट कर दीजिए, यूट्यूब लाइव, बिकॉज दैट इज द ईजिएस्ट थिंग दैट यू कैन डू। अपने पेरेंट्स को भेजिए सब लोग। आई विल चेक हाउ मेनी पीपल आर सीइंग यूट्यूब लाइव चैनल्स। प्लीज सेंड द यूट्यूब लाइव लिंक टू योर पेरेंट्स। सबकी ना व्हाट्सएप में फैमिली ग्रुप्स होंगी, है ना? किस किस की नहीं है हाथ उठाना। नहीं है व्हाट्सएप? अच्छा, तुम्हारे व्हाट्सएप में फैमिली ग्रुप नहीं है? नहीं है? अच्छा, ये तो स्कूल के बच्चे हैं। फोन भी नहीं दिया आपको? नहीं, उसको नहीं दिया फोन। तुम्हारी मम्मी को ना मेरी तरफ से थैंक यू बोलना, अच्छा काम किया उन्होंने। हो गया आप सबका? जस्ट आपके जो सीट्स खाली हैं वो लोग आएंगे ना, तो एक बार आप उन्हें भी बता दीजिए, ठीक है? थैंक यू।
वेलकम बैक. लंच अच्छा लगा? एनर्जी से पता नहीं लग रहा है, जोर से. अब लंच करते करते आई एक्चुअली फाउंड ए वियर्ड प्रॉब्लम. आई मीन टू से दैट इट्स नॉट टुडे आई फाउंड द प्रॉब्लम इज स्टिल देयर. I want a solution from all these young mind. So, point is, I have been observing this. This is a paper glass that we are offering during the lunch time. I was trying to understand what is the life cycle of this one. अब ध्यान से देखिए, this has got very nice, decorations, printing and everything. अब हमने क्या किया? उधर जाया, नल खोला, आधा ग्लास पानी पिया और फेंक दिया. अब इसके लाइफस्टाइल में सोचिए, ये बेचारा जिंदगी में आके क्या किया? इसको सिर्फ आधा ग्लास पानी आपने पिया, फेंक दिया. इज इट नॉट हैपनिंग? यू अज्यूम दैट यू जस्ट टुक दिस कप, हाफ कप वाटर, यू ड्रिंक इट, ड्रॉप इट डाउन द गार्बेज बिन. और इसका रिसाइकलिंग साइकिल जो है ना, उसको तो भूल ही जाइए. आई मीन टू से दैट वी डू ऑल रिसाइकलिंग, बट बाय द टाइम इट रीचेस टू द रिसाइकलिंग चेंबर, ये भी बेचारा थक जाता है. तो मैं ये सोच रहा हूँ कि अगर मान लीजिए, आई डू नॉट वांट टू डिस्कस दिस. माय कलीग डॉक्टर देवश्री टोल्ड दैट, आई टोल्ड दैट आई विल रिप्लेस दिस. आई विल नॉट यूज दिस कप. आई विल आस्क द वॉलंटियर्स और द पार्टिसिपेंट्स टू ब्रिंग देयर ओन वाटर बॉटल्स एंड पोर द वाटर एंड देन दे विल ड्रिंक इट. बट उन्होंने एक प्रॉब्लम खड़ी कर दी मेरे सामने. बोला ये जो इंडस्ट्री है, हाउ दे विल सर्वाइव? यू सिंपली बेसिकली टेकिंग अवे देयर bread and butter. How they will survive? At the same time, I do not want this to be wasted. Okay, ठीक है. एक solution मैं और सौरभ ने, again my colleague सौरभ, हमने सोचा है एक solution with even with this paper cup. How can we minimize the? आप एक दिन में सोच लीजिए, for a single day we are actually organizing this one for 5 days. ठीक है. एक दिन में कितने कप यूज हो रहा है? आप लोग 5 बार जा रहे हो, 10 बार जा रहे हो, जाके पानी पी रहे हो. अभी तो बाहर हमने इसीलिए स्टील का ग्लास लगा दिया, मतलब शुरू से ही. बट पर्टिकुलरली ड्यूरिंग लंच टाइम और स्नैक्स टाइम और ब्रेक टाइम, if you go to the tent, you will find these glasses. You will drink water, half a glass water, drop it, do it in 5 times in a day. 5 ग्लास चला गया, जिंदगी तो उनका भी खराब हो गया. ठीक है. अभी एक सोल्यूशन चाहिए. थिंक अबाउट इट. इसका एक सोल्यूशन निकाल के कल वही दैट प्रोटोकॉल वी आर गोइंग टू इम्प्लीमेंट इट टुमारो. ठीक है. कल ये कप जो है ना, अनलिमिटेड नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन सबको कप मिलेगा. इसका एक सोल्यूशन मुझे चाहिए. ठीक है. राइट. यही वाला सोल्यूशन मैंने भी सोचा था कि सुबह आके ना, जब रजिस्ट्रेशन किट में हम एक एक ग्लास दे देते, भाई ये आज का दिन का ग्लास है आपका. ठीक है. अब दिस इज योर ड्यूटी टू मेंटेन द हाइजीन of this glass and keep it for the whole day. We will not give you the second glass. Nice solution. This also came to my mind. We want, even if somebody thinks that there is a better solution, बोलो क्या है? He is saying that अगर whole day के लिए foldable करना चाहिए. मान लो अभी देखो, मैं ये नहीं कर सकता हूँ कि ये foldable नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि हमने ये ऑलरेडी परचेस कर लिया. That's why the solution will come ना. ये जुगाड़ वाला सोल्यूशन चाहिए एक, जो मुझे कल ना टोटल नंबर ऑफ कप का जो यूजेज है वो कम होगा. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट आई एम गोइंग माइजर, मैं सेव कर रहा हूँ पैसे, IIT का पैसे सेव कर रहा हूँ, ऐसा नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. थोड़ा सा दुनिया को एक मॉडल क्रिएट करके, बूट कैंप है ये, इसमें से कुछ तो आएगा सोच के कि ये प्रोटोकॉल हमने अगले 5 साल तक 10 साल तक यूज करेंगे, देखेंगे कि क्या क्या फायदा हुआ. ठीक है. ये एक होम टास्क मैं सबके लिए दे रहा हूँ, सोच के रखो. जो सबसे बड़ा आइडिया आएगा ना, जिसका आई विल गिव you a prize from my own pocket. I will not, look for IIT. The best model for, keeping this glass same. I do not want to disappoint the manufacturer of this glass, okay, or plastic, cup. But I still want to reduce or minimize the usage of this cup by satisfying each and everyone's need for a longer program like 5-day program. This is the problem statement I am giving it to you. I want a solution. 24 hours is the time. By tomorrow lunchtime, you come up with your idea, pitch it here itself. Your idea will be judged by some of these panel members, and then will get the prize money from me. This is what from my side. Okay. So, ho gaya, come. Now we will start. We'll go to the business. Ma'am, please come and take over the stage and start your session. Thank you. By By the way, ये ताली किसके लिए था और मेरे लिए कहाँ गया?
ना ठीक है ना? Thank you so much for the clappings. अभी बोर हो गए होंगे ना 3 दिन से एक ही शक्ल देख के. Okay. So first of all, I would like to appreciate you all. Very good audience. Very interactive, enthusiastic from the morning since evening. So clap for yourself first. Awesome. Very good questions, interactions after every session. I appreciate your questions also, what you are asking to the experts. Wonderful. So we quickly let's have a recap what we discussed in these 3 days till now from the first phase. So just recall the things what you have learned. Take out the names. डिज़ाइन थिंकिंग ठीक है, वो तो पूरा थीम है, अभी उसके अंदर आते हैं. एम्पैथी एंड सेल्फ डिस्कवरी, आइडिएशन, इनोवेशन, ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक अप्रोच, कस्टमर सेगमेंटेशन, customer persona, ergonomics, prototyping, right? We discussed a little bit about prototyping also. Lean canvas. Have we discussed lean canvas? Lean canvas बहुत पसंद है क्या? It's the next topic. That is problem canvas. Competitive advantages, right? So it's going in a sequence. If you will look carefully, we first talked about self-discovery, then we discussed about identification of problem, then we discussed that how we can identify whether it's a worth solving problem or not, then we talked about customer segments, market size, market estimation, types of market, and now we are going to discuss about value proposition. But सुबह से मुझे एक design thinking का एक और example आ रहा था, तो let's first give me that example. Do you know about life saving dot? Have you heard about life saving dot? Very good. Tell me about all of us about that. Can we have a mic, please? Life saving dot. Very good example of design thinking. Very basic.
Ma'am, actually there were some women in village who were having iron deficiency. Although the government was trying to provide them with vitamins and iron capsules, they weren't using them properly. So so one innovation came up with this bindi that had an iron thing that could be directly absorbed through the skin. So every time they use the bindi, iron will be absorbed into the body and the deficiency will be taken care of.
Awesome, wonderful. What's your name?
Apurva, ma'am.
Round of applause for Apurva. You can search on Google. I'll not show it here. It's simply a bindi because it's a problem for village women to remember that we need to take iodine, how much quantity and all. To solve that problem, that bindi is designed. Okay, so that was a good example. So just I wanted to discuss that. Now let's talk about value proposition. So value proposition and competition analysis or competitive advantage will go hand in hand. Value proposition, the meaning of value proposition is that now we need to understand that what is the value we are going to provide to the customers. समझ लिया, we now understand our customers, we have made the sketch of the customers in the form of customer persona. Now we need to understand that what is the value we are going to provide to the customer, what is the value proposition of our product or service. So how we should design that, how we can identify that, and how it will help us further in our venture journey. So by the end of the session, you will be able to understand the importance of a strong value proposition, the key elements of effective value proposition. We'll also design it, and we'll also understand some of the frameworks how to design the value proposition, and we'll understand the pain points of the customers and how we can delight the customers. So what can be the tools to make that value proposition? So we need to understand, like from the beginning, from the morning we are discussing about competitive advantage. We want to understand that how our product is different from the competitor. So either you first identify your competitors and compare your solution with their solution point by point. You should get a unique point that this is the point where our product is different from the competitor. We have at least one competitive advantage. Or we can start with making value proposition, do the mapping and identify our uniqueness, and then compare with the competitors whether they are also providing something like that or not. So it goes hand in hand. So let me first show you the canvas and then I'll go back to the topics. So we are going to use this tool to design the value proposition, and this tool is value proposition canvas, very famous tool. It has two sides. Right hand side is for customer segment, left hand side is for your product or service. Now first tell me what we will design first, right side or left side? The things written in that circle are jobs, pains, gains, and that left side is gain creator, product, pain relievers. So what we should design first, right or left? Sure? Sure, good. Good answer, because right side will decide the requirement of the customers, and then we are going to map their requirements by our product. So we'll do a mapping whether the features which we are providing are mapping with the customer's requirement or not. And now let's start with the right hand side, that is one block is jobs. So let's first understand the meaning of job, and later on all things will be very clear. The most confusing thing is jobs, and the term related to jobs frequently used in startup world is JTBD. Anybody has heard about that? JTBD? JTBD. It's jobs to be done. JTBD. Jobs to be done. Normally when we hear about jobs, what do you understand by jobs? अभी एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर, बडिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर आपसे पूछूंगी व्हाट आर योर जॉब्स, तो आप क्या बोलोगे? You will start talking about your product. We have to make the website, we have to make it secure, we have to provide so and so features. But when we talk about jobs in relation with customer segment, it is the jobs to be done by the customers. Okay, so let's see an example and then you will understand that very clearly. But before that, again let me ask one question. If suppose a restaurant is there, they are providing milkshakes to the customers and they hire you, they want to increase the sales of milkshakes and they hire you for that job to suggest them something unique so that they can increase the sales of the milkshakes. What suggestions you will give? They want to increase the sales of milkshakes, and they hired you for that job to give them some suggestions how they can increase the sales of the milkshakes. By introducing different kind of flavors, right? Yeah. Attractive packaging, okay. Low cost, different sizes. A little louder. They should give the facility, they can taste the shape.
I'm using advertisement tactics.
Advertisement tactics, right? Quantity should be good. Quality should be good. Low price and okay, quantity should be good. Combo offers. Sugar-free options. Ambassadors, very good.
So letting them choose their own ingredients, and if that particular milkshake is good enough, then they will list that milkshake in their menu for a whole week.
Very good. Good suggestion. The last suggestion, yes. Customized milkshakes.
Most of the time they even write on the packaging that will different taste, that will be they try to attract the market base or the who are trying to target. They are trying to focus on that and trying to increase the popularity.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, design and look of the copying and what was the outside of the
Okay.
styling.
Enough suggestions, and I will not blame you because you are giving suggestions without interacting with the customers, right? So shakes hai, to it should be related to taste, cost, nutritious value, and so, right? Now, let me show you this video. Watch it carefully, and I hope you'll be able to understand that. And listen it carefully and understand the meaning of jobs and what the person is trying to tell you. Just listen it. Little bit longer video but interesting to understand JTBD. इसके बाद आप कभी नहीं भूलोगे what is the meaning of jobs. Captions on कर देना.
Customer. It turns out I fit that profile very well. They would then invite people who hit the profile into conference rooms and they'd ask them questions, trying to understand. To give you an illustration of how we develop this in a deeper way, McDonald's approached us. And McDonald's is a very sophisticated marketing company. And they have data up the gazoo. And they decided that they needed to innovate in their milkshake product line so that more people will buy milkshakes. And they had data that allowed them to draw a quintessential customer of milkshake customers. And they then would identify this profile of a milkshake customer. It turns out I fit that profile very well. They would then invite people who hit the profile into conference rooms, and they'd ask them questions, trying to understand how could we improve the milkshake so you'll buy more of them. And they'd get very clear feedback. They would then improve the milkshake on those dimensions of performance, and it had no impact on sales or profits whatsoever. So we invited ourselves, and they agreed that we could try to approach it in a very different way. And that is, you know, there's a job out there somewhere that arises in people's life on occasion that causes them to need to buy a milkshake. And we need to understand what the job is that causes people to buy a milkshake. And so one of our colleagues stood in a McDonald's restaurant for 18 hours one day and just took very careful notes on what time did he buy the milkshake,
Is it audible?
what was he wearing,
Understandable?
was he alone or with other people, did he buy other food with it or just the milkshake, and did he eat it in the restaurant or did he go off in the car and take off. It turned out that about half of the milkshakes were sold before 8:30 in the morning. It was the only thing they bought. They were always alone, and they always got in the car and drove off with it. So we came the next morning and confronted and positioned ourselves outside the restaurant so that we could confront these people as they were emerging with their milkshake. And in language that they could better understand, we asked them, excuse me.
So have you understood till now? They appointed a person who stood there for 18 hours to observe the people who are buying milkshakes, and they observed their behavior, right? Now they observed that. Okay.
You're creating real trouble for me because
Now see the result.
Can you explain what job arose in your life that caused you to come here at 6:30 in the morning to hire a milkshake to get this? What's the job to be done here? As they would struggle to answer why they came at 6:30, we'd ask them, well, step back a minute and think about the last situation in which you had the same situation, needing to get the same job done, but you didn't come here to hire a milkshake from McDonald's. What did you hire to get the job done? And one guy said, yeah, I hire donuts to do the job, but I can never hire just one. And another guy said, I do bagels, you know, but boy, they're dry and they're tasteless. And so I have to put cream cheese on and steer the car with my knees while I'm putting cream cheese on. And it turns out, one of them said, you know, I hired a Snickers bar to do the job, but I felt so guilty. I've never hired Snickers again. And one guy said, you know, I never thought about it before, but last Friday I hired a banana to do the job. But it doesn't do the job very well at all. You finish it in less than a minute. But let me tell you, when I go to McDonald's, it is so viscous, it takes me about 23 minutes to suck it up that thin little straw. And I don't care what the ingredients are. All I know is that when 10 o'clock comes, I'm still full. And the job that all of these people were trying to get done was...
So now, are you getting any idea? They are not at all concerned about the ingredients of the milkshake. They wanted something which can accompany them in their drive, which they can handle with one hand without spilling it out, and something which can keep their stomach full till 10 a.m. That were the jobs. That's why they were buying milkshakes, not for the taste, not for the flavors and nothing else. So now can you relate the suggestions you gave me and the things which are coming out from this video? Why the milkshake sales was not increased? Because everybody suggested about, like you suggested me. But then they applied these things that they want something viscous, something which can be handled with one hand, right? Something which can like finish, last longer, बहुत देर तक उनके साथ रहे उनके traveling में, and keep their stomach full till 10 a.m. That were the jobs they wanted to get done by buying a milkshake. So things are very much different, and that's why I discussed with you that focus on the unsaid things, right? So now when they will apply, and they applied these thought processes and introduced other kind of milkshakes with the same attributes, and they advertised the milkshakes with those attributes in the banner only, and they increased the sales. So you can watch the video later on. The person's name is Clayton Christensen. So right now what I discussed with you is the customer jobs. So now coming to the canvas, you also need to understand what are the jobs to be done by your customer. And this all you can understand with the interviews you have taken in the first phase from your customers, right? So you need to fill these jobs. What are the basic jobs customers want to get done by your product? But you should not name your product when you are filling the right hand side part, because we are solely talking about the customers on the right hand side part. Okay. Now in the morning session also somewhere it arises that attach some emotional thing with your product, right? That is actually emotional job. What you will write, they need to take a cab commute from one place to another. That is functional job. But if you can also understand the emotional requirement of your customers, that will be great. So that is emotional job. Some jobs are social jobs. Like you are here in IIT Bhubaneswar, I am also here in IIT Bhubaneswar. We are clicking pictures and we are tagging like IIT Bhubaneswar because it is giving us a social status that we are in the renowned institution of India, right? We are the part of some program here. So that is satisfying your social need. So if you can also identify the social jobs of the customers and embed that in your product, that would be great. Right? I have given the example of that Nukkar restaurant at my place where deaf and dumb people are working and transgenders are working. So whenever we go out for dinner at that restaurant, indirectly we think that we are helping those people because we are paying there and it is somehow helping in their salary. So that is the emotional job. So if you are making some product, if you can attach the tagline made in India, helping the artisans of our country, ये जो सारी taglines होती हैं, these are actually emotionally impacting you. So these are emotional jobs. So if you can identify functional job, emotional job, social jobs, that's wonderful. This block is filled by those jobs, totally from the customer's point of view. Okay, coming to the next block, that is pain. What is the meaning of pain? Frustration. So have you filled that problem canvas? You have filled the emotional impact. You filled stressed, helplessness, frustrated. Now pain block should consist of those things. What are the things that are causing those frustrations and stress? So what are the painful things which are stopping your customers to fulfill those jobs? So if we are writing something in the jobs, we can write in the pain that the cab ride is costly. That is a pain point. I have to wait for 20 minutes. That is a pain point. So I just want to commute from one place to another. I want a cab. That is my basic job. But my pain, my frustration is that I have to wait for half an hour for that cab. I have to pay a hefty amount of money for that cab. That is my pain point. So what are the things that are causing frustrations should come under the pain block. Not the feeling, but the things that are causing those feelings. So you will not write here stress, frustration and all. You have to write what are the things that are causing those stress and helplessness and other things, negative emotions. Okay? Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Then there is a block gains. Gains is totally separate from jobs and pains. Gains means something delightful which your customer is looking for. Something additional, which is not related to basic job, which is actually not the pain, but they want, इतना तो हो गया, ऐसा और हो जाता तो मज़ा आ जाता. Right? Something additional. People always want something additional. Discount मिल जाता है तो हम खुश हो जाते हैं, right? We don't know कि वो price बढ़ा के discount दिया है क्या किया, but it is discount. Suddenly discount मिल गया. Or sometimes it may happen that जिस bakery से we usually buy cakes and all, and they note down the birthdays, and suddenly you got a bouquet on your birthday. That is a delightful moment for the customers. Wow moment. That is the meaning of gain. What gains your customers are seeking in your product or from you. Okay? So gain means not opposite of pains. Gain means something additional what your customer want. Some discounts for regular customers or something additional. Okay? So once we have filled this customer part, then what happen is, now what you need to do is, just an example for breakfast for PG students. You have listed down the jobs. This is just an example. The jobs they want to do is, they want to have freshly cooked food, healthy option, regular availability, basic things. What are the basic things they want? Easy to eat, get more time to study, leisure and sleep. These are the jobs PG students want, right? The pain points are, cooking facility is not available in their PG. That can be a frustration point. It is time consuming if they are self-cooking. Expensive, not sure whether it is fresh or hygienic if they are buying it from outside. And no standardization of taste and quantity. These are the pain points. What are the gains they are seeking? Easy and convenient to eat, freshness, convenience to pay, calories and nutrients, variety, doorstep delivery. These gain points are totally different from pain and job. Nothing is overlapping. So usually what we do is, we write the pains and just opposite we fill it in the gain. But gains are something different. So you need to list jobs, pains and gains. It can be a 2-point thing or 5 points, not necessarily to be filled by many points. You can also write only one thing in the gains, that this is what my customer want and this will make them delightful. So it is not required to write full paragraphs and 5 points in the gain block and pain block. Okay? And once this is done, then we'll come to the left hand side part and we'll do the mapping. What is the mapping? Once this side is done, left hand side part is very, very easy to fill. In left hand side part, we need to fill the features of the product. I request all of you to stand at your places, please. Raise both the hands. एक बार ताड़ आसन करेंगे ना, ऐसे पकड़ करके ऊपर तक स्ट्रेच करिए और ऊपर स्ट्रेच, स्ट्रेच, हैंड्स डाउन. एक बार फिर से स्ट्रेच, स्ट्रेच, टोस पे स्ट्रेच, डाउन. थोड़ा सा ऐसे करेंगे, थोड़ा इधर करेंगे. अब बैठ जाइए. थोड़ा सा नेक मूवमेंट भी कर लेंगे, थोड़ा सा, ऐसे जोर से नहीं करना. थोड़ा सा रिलैक्स हुआ. और मोबाइल में ज़्यादा देखने से क्या, आईज स्ट्रेस होती है, तो इधर देखते हैं. ठीक है? ऐसे ऐसे करने से नेक में भी दर्द होगा, आईज में भी स्ट्रेस होगा. So back to the point. Customer segment part fill हो गया है. Now we'll come to the left hand side part. Left hand side part is totally related to the features of your product. Okay. So how we'll do the mapping? We will map whatever you have write in the jobs to the product and service. Here you have to define that what is your product. So suppose I have written here that we want I as a customer, I want to have a cab to commute from one place to another. Product and services mein I will write about my product that it is a mobile app based cab service. So what customer want, I am providing there as a product. So that should be the mapping of jobs to product and services. Then we have pains. So we will define the pain relievers. What are the features in my product that are the pain relievers for the customer? They are having 5 pains, we are providing some relievers. Gain will be mapped with the, gain creators will be mapped with the gains. These are the gains my customers are looking for, and these are the features we are providing which will provide them that gain. Okay. So what is the difference between pain reliever and gain creator? What is the difference between pain reliever and gain creator?
Ma'am, according to me, pain reliever is basically the measures that we are taking to resolve the problem.
Right.
Whereas gain creator are those things which we are giving in additional and which can make our product as a different from other alternatives, so that customer can get attracted towards it.
Right. Very good. So, जैसे medicines होती है ना, pain reliever and vitamins. तो pain reliever is a necessity. उसके बिना हम काम नहीं कर पाएंगे, right? Headache हो रहा है बहुत ज़्यादा, I need to go to work, I'll take pain reliever, some medicine. Vitamin is something like which will give us energy, boost करता है, but it is not so required. But अगर vitamins लेते हैं तो energy आती है, right? That is the difference between pain reliever and gain creator. Now where the competitive advantage is coming here? How this value proposition canvas is helping us to define the uniqueness of the product, the competitive advantage we have over the competitors. ऐसा क्या बनाया इसमें value proposition canvas में, which is helping us define the uniqueness of your product. Tell me the name of the blocks. Gain creator. Product and services basic thing, it is just helping us to solve the basic jobs जो बाकी लोग भी करते हैं, right? Right. So somebody from the end, what are the blocks here which will help us to define the competitive advantage? Gain creator and pain reliever also. So the combination of pain relievers and gain creators are giving you the competitive advantage. Somebody was asking in the morning how we can identify that. So what is pain actually? Pain is something which your competitor is not able to provide. That's why that pain exists. Market में product नहीं है which will help them to solve that pain, which means competitor are not helping them to solve the pain. That's why that pain exists. And we are providing the pain reliever. So we are something different from the competitors, which is not there in the market, right? And in addition, we are also providing the gain creators. So the combination of pain relievers and gain creators are your competitive advantage. This is making you unique from the competitors, your unique value proposition. Overall, it is a value proposition, but two things are forming your unique value proposition. Okay? Let me show you the example of again that hostel PG1, and then I'll give you this task to make the value proposition canvas. So jobs, pains and gains were defined. Solution is subscription model and app based breakfast delivery. This is defining that this will do the basic job. What was the basic job? They want freshly cooked, healthy option, regular availability, easy to eat and so on. So what is the product? Subscription model and app based breakfast delivery. Now below you can see we have made this parallelly so that you can understand that read the pain, write the features which will relieve them from the pain. There should be a match. ऐसा नहीं कि लेफ्ट साइड बना के छोड़ दिया और राइट साइड बना के छोड़ दिया और लेफ्ट में कुछ भी लिख रहे हैं. पेन रिलीवर शुड मैप विद द पेन्स, गेन क्रिएटर शुड मैप विद द गेन्स. Gain is what the customer want, easy to eat. What is the feature we are providing? Packaged in a way it retains heat and freshness. Convenience of payment, subscription model, online, weekly, monthly booking of breakfast. So what are the gains they are seeking? We are providing the features to give them that gain. We are creating the gain for them. Okay. So now the task for you, activity time. You can download the value proposition canvas from here, Strategizer, and start making the value proposition canvas either for your idea which you are going to pitch or the idea which you have chosen yesterday. Come on, start working on that. Note down the website and then I'll show the canvas here also. Sorry? Acha, blank wala. You can note down the website and then I'll open the blank canvas also if you want to draw in the notebook. These are few of the tools. I have given you few tools from yesterday. These tools will help you to see when you write the things, then those things are being clarified in your mind. जब हम बात करते हैं तो clarity नहीं आती है. When you write down, तब clarity आती है. So these are the tools which will help you to give the clarity. Have you noted down it? And then I am coming down to check whether you are working on value proposition or not. Till the end. Done? And if you want to draw in the notebook, this is the canvas. And if you have any doubt, you can ask. Link open? Okay. If link is not opening, canvas is in front of you, right in front of you. Easily, you can easily click on Word or PowerPoint or in the notebook. I want Teams discussion. How hua? I'll ask anybody to present the PPT. So this is your unique value proposition. The heading is unique value proposition, right? Right. Before this, we do this exercise. Right. So.
We have to think about that, but we are not
हाँ, तो जब when we note it down तब clarity आती है, otherwise हम बस बोलते हैं और हम आप note करोगे, we repeat the things in sentences, all the things we just repeat. When you'll note point wise, then you'll understand that we need to differentiate. Maybe we are giving only 1 point in gain, that's okay, but we need to differentiate. If anybody is asking, huh? That's okay. If it's not opening, it's a simple diagram. You can just make in the notebook. Meanwhile, we also prepared customer persona yesterday. So, do you have the email IDs which I showed yesterday? Write your name in your customer persona if you want to display it here, and just send that customer persona to the mail ID which I displayed yesterday. First 5 will be displayed. Write your name on the persona itself. ये सब कॉलेज की टीम से, राइट? चेक योर यूनिक वैल्यू प्रपोजिशन इन लीन कैनवस. Unique value proposition is very important with respect to your pitching sessions. If you are not able to create the differentiator, how you will justify your product? Like I gave the example of honey twigs yesterday. बहुत छोटा सा differentiation था, right? How to solve the problem of sleepness after lunch? ऐसे clips लगा देने चाहिए सबकी आंखों पे, right? आंख नहीं खुल रही है. हो गया? You showing? कहाँ है? Value proposition. Have you made it in your pitch deck? Which one? No, not this. Customer persona. कल किया था. इसको मेल किया आपने? ओके. वो मैं बता देता हूँ. It should not change. What's your name? That's okay. अभी मेल सर्च करने के लिए we need your name. Done. Gain, gain is customer segment part, which means what your customer is thinking, what are the gains they are seeking. आपका customer क्या ढूंढ रहा है कि कुछ extra मिल जाए. Gain creator is the feature of your product. That these are the features. Suppose my customer is saying I want some discount in any form, right? I want some offers as a regular customer. That is the requirement that will make a delightful moment for my customer. So customer is saying that I want some offers. Now he is not sure what are the offers. Now you have to decide what offers you can provide to your customers to create that wow moment. So in gain creator you will write, for example, that we will provide regular discounts for the regular customer, 5% discount or some coins in their accounts which can be cashed later on. So how you are going to provide the offer in your product is gain creator. सर कुछ मेल्स आए क्या? कुछ मेल आए क्या? किस नाम से? नहीं नहीं वो तो मेरा है, स्टूडेंट्स का कुछ है. Anybody wants to mail their customer persona? Should I display the email ID? No, nobody is interested. Do we have any questions while we are preparing the value proposition canvas? Please be sure these are standard formats, so we should not actually change the format. This should be a one pager only and in the same shape. I mean, if you have done that in your copy in a different way, that's okay, but for future, whenever you are going to design VPC, you should not change the format. These are the standard ones. Well proven, used by various websites. No, no specific reason, just to differentiate the two sides, that's it. No reason for the shape. How many of you are ready with VPC? How many of you want to mail it and display it here? Okay. Do you remember the email ID I displayed yesterday? Sir, can you just type on one slide and display it? So we are displaying the email ID here. Those who want to present your VPC on the screen, even if it is half done, because I know it's not so easy to prepare a VPC in 10 minutes. You can mail it. हाँ, इसको हटा के एक स्लाइड पे insert a slide and type your email ID. And soon we are moving towards business model. After this topic, we have a session on business model. So you have already discussed problem, solution, unique value proposition. Out of the 9 blocks, 3 blocks are already filled. Here is the email ID. Quickly in 2 minutes. जितना VPC आएगा 2 minutes में, they will get a chance to present here. सर कुछ रिसीव हो तो टेल मी, कुछ मेल आएगा तो प्लीज टेल मी. नहीं है? Okay. Please pay attention here. I think you are busy in preparing your VPC and few teams don't want to present it because they are going to have closed room pitch session. So they don't want to disclose. So that's okay. Please come back to your seats. Slide show. आप कर दो कोई सा भी, move it. And once your value proposition canvas is ready, I am quickly going to show you the table of competition analysis so that you can have a clarity that in what format you can design it to understand how you are a little bit different from the competitors. What you can do is just identify, sir, may I request you please come back to your seats. So as we discussed in the morning also, and one more thing that you cannot say that you have no competitor. You will have some competitor either in the direct form or indirect form. Anything which customer may use in place of your product is your competitor. You have created a website, they are very happy in the manual setting, that is your competitor. Anything which your customer may use in place of your product is your competitor or they are already using. Remember the alternatives in the problem canvas. Whatever alternatives they are right now using to solve the problem are your competitors. List down your competitors in a table. Competitor 1, 2, 3, direct or indirect. List down the criteria on the basis of which you are going to compare your product or service with their product or service on the left hand side and make this table. You will soon realize, are you making a similar product with no differentiation or you at least have one benefit which is making you unique as compared to your competitors. And if you are not finding any such benefit, you have to think about that, because to be in the market, you need to create some competitive advantage, later on sustainable competitive advantage. But initially when you are about to launch, you need to have some uniqueness in your product. So once you have created the unique value proposition, look at the pain relievers, gain creators, those are the uniqueness. Study your competitors, their reviews on the net and various ways, study about your competitors, make this table. The benefit left hand side column may change according to your product. You have to fill the criteria on the basis of which you are going to compare and make this table. And try to identify what is the differentiation in your product as compared to your competitors. Any doubts? You can show me your value proposition canvas in the tea break if you want to discuss. Do you have any doubts related to competition analysis and value proposition canvas? Still busy in preparing it. Okay, then we are ending the session. Thank you so much. And I'll surely ask about the VPC in the tea break. Thank you so much.
Now I request Devashri ma'am, they are already here, to present a memento to Shivani ma'am.
So, presentation on करो. Okay, good afternoon. Now, I would like to introduce you, our next speaker, who is Shri Vijay Sahu ji. We became friends by God's grace 5 years back. Okay, and since then our journey is going on. Let me introduce you the speaker. he's from Puri, Konark area itself. So he's a native of Odisha, the son of Odisha. Currently with Reliance Industries as the vice president in chairman's office. But that is a different thing. But you will have to understand his, other achievements. He worked with two of the, biggest industrialists in this country. He worked with Ajim Premji ji, okay, for a long time, I understand. He was also one of the youngest directors in one of the PSU banks. I think at the age of 23 or something like that, he became the director of the bank. You can understand that, how, competent he is. Still, at this age, I mean to say that he is quite senior, but still, he lives a very simple life. Probably, I have seen many people, in my professional life as well as personal life, he is living so simple, his thinking is so simple that if you spend some time with him, maybe a couple of hours time with him, you'll understand that, how everyone should actually approach his or her life. That is what I have also learned from him during last 4 or 5 years. And his knowledge in industry, how to set up industry, because he was pioneering setting up many businesses, starting from Reliance's big ventures he started. Okay. You understand that he is very closely working with the chairman of the Reliance Industries. Earlier he worked with Mr. Premji, so you can understand that at what level he has reached. So today we are really fortunate to have him. Fortunately, because he visited Odisha during this Rath Yatra festival, and I mean to say that I could have a chance to discuss with him that, sir, please come and interact with these young people, 300 people, half of them are school children and half of them are budding entrepreneurs. And since he is at the helm of entrepreneurships and probably larger one, so I want you to utilize this next 45 minutes to 1 hour time to the best. And that's it. I do not want to say anything more about the speaker. You listen to him, and I am also waiting for his speech. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Dogra. Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Dogra, for inviting me to be with these young aspiring minds of India. Dr. Karmalkar, Director Sahib, is there supporting you from behind. So, sir, good evening to you. I'll meet you after my speech. So, Dr. Dogra and me, we most intensely we worked on one occasion, which was part of kind of a sustainability goal. So my session is on innovation for achieving sustainable development goals. As you know, in 2015, UNO decided for the planet itself to be sustainable, for all of us to come together and start working in our startup, the planet itself should be sustainable. So that's why they defined some 17 goals. I'll go there a little while after. But I'll tell you how Dr. Dogra and me, we came together very closely to work. So we have a common linkage. Common linkage is Ramakrishna Mission. So he studied in Ramakrishna Mission school, but I was a regular visitor to Ramakrishna Mission ashram and the library. So here what happens is, the COVID, if you remember, breakout, there was lockdown in March 2020, and all the workers were asked to go back. So everybody was happy because they were getting vacation like people like us, but the workers who were on the streets, working, building the bridges, roads for all of us, they had no shelter, no place to go to. So they were going back to their native places. So that is the time we thought how do we help these people? Then we created a platform. So that time people had a lot of restrictions when they come back from cities to their villages. They will not be allowed to enter 2 weeks. There will be they have to stay separate. So that is the time we built a platform called Mosaya platform. Yeah, Mosaya platform. So that is the time we actually came together and built a platform. And that platform, what it did, whosoever the migrants, they were coming from different parts of the world, that captured those details and helped them to go back to their villages. And after everybody reached villages, bigger problem got created 3 to 6 months thereafter, because these people had no jobs. So there was no earning in the village. So they need to go back to their employment. So that's the time actually we worked together, identifying almost 200,000-300,000 jobs in the country by talking to all corporates and sending back these people to their workplace. And they had no jobs. We just got them into jobs. So our mission was mitigating miseries of migrant workers. So that's the platform, Mosai. And he was our mentor. He was guiding us in terms of the tech, creating the tech platform. And I was connecting to all the corporates because I worked in Wipro, Reliance, and other larger corporations. So I was taking care of connecting to all the companies like L&T, Reliance, Tata, all the companies, what kind of people they need. And we're listing out the jobs and then sending people. That time trains were not running. We arranged some buses to go from here, Bhubaneswar, to Bangalore, from Lucknow, from Patna, from Kolkata. So we arranged those kind of transportations for all of them to go back to work so that their family had some kind of earning for them to live. So that is the way we actually came together, and we continue to work on that platform. So there we have 2-3 themes we work on. One is we bring latest technologies to the least privileged. So people who we train are generally meritorious boys and girls from the rural areas. So those are the boys, they're generally first class boys. We train them in technologies. We train them in 3 things: communication, computing, and confidence building. So they should be good in communication. Most of you would have studied in public school, but the rural boys and girls, they study in vernacular. So they can't speak or write or convey themselves, communicate themselves very well in the our kind of situations. So we train them in communication. We train them in computing. So depending on if there are many unemployed engineers, computer science engineers, that time, in COVID time, So we trained them in artificial intelligence, we trained them in full stack coding. So we started training them starting from React JS, React Native, Angular JS, Node.js, Python, MongoDB, and Dr. Dogra was guiding us about creating an ecosystem, an inspirational place where we're encouraging them to get into AI, machine learning, computer vision. Nowadays you see all of us are using it. So that's the way we came together. So as long as, sustainability depends on environment, the society, and the governance. So if there is no proper environment, there is no ecosystem, if the planet is affected, it's unhealthy, polluted, then the world cannot be sustainable. The second is the social fabric, like how the socio-cultural aspects, socio-economic aspects of the society, that is also very important for sustainability. And most important is governance. Governance is the government. See here, this government is encouraging all IITs and all of you to come together. Now since the employment in the country is reducing, now there are no jobs. If you use ChatGPT for generating codes, that will generate codes for 100 software programmers and much faster. And the reusability is much more. So what happens? 99 software engineers lose their job. So that's exactly happening. Today, if you see most of the companies all over the world, they're letting go people. Why they're letting go people? Because of automation of knowledge work. Now in 2013-14, McKinsey had come up with a proposal, with a kind of research. They had said 75 to 80% of IT jobs will be redundant because of the artificial intelligence and automation of knowledge work. So that time nobody believed it in 2014. But after 9 years, we are all experiencing that software engineers are losing job. This time you go to any government engineering college or even the leading ones, IIT is a little different. You will find many people are not placed. And those who actually have got placed, their offers have been kind of cancelled. Now what is happening? There are no jobs. When there are no jobs, who will create the jobs? So rather than seeking the job, you all have come here to be trained to be the job creators. So this platform is given by Government of India and other governments, IITs and professors like director and professors like Dogra, and they have created this ecosystem. Now if you all start seeking jobs, you will have limited opportunities. But if you start seeking doing something for the world and create a startup, then you have unlimited opportunities. And startup has a very simple formula to succeed. So startup is start first. But once people start, they don't strive. So if you don't strive, there is no success. And some people, they strive for a specific period of time. Quickly they start, they strive, and they don't stay. If you don't stay, there is no success. So in startup, to succeed, you must observe, like start, it's good, strive, that's necessary, and must stay. See, the failure comes when you give up. When you say from tomorrow, I am not doing this company, I am seeking a job or doing something else, that's the time you have accepted, declared the failure. Till that time, if you stay at it, there is no failure, there is only success. So the success of startup depends on start, strive, and stay. So many companies you will see, they have started, they have stayed 10 years, 15 years, 20 years to succeed. I remember when we started Reliance Retail in 2005. So 2005, when we started Reliance Retail, in 2008, Lehman Brothers went belly up. So we had a plan that we will create employment for nearly 500,000 people in this country. And retail was not an industry in India. There was nothing organized retail. Small shops were there. And we said we will create something like 10,000 stores, employment for 500,000 people, and build a business value creation of 100,000 crores, 1 lakh crore. Then when 2008 came, Lehman Brothers went belly up. We didn't know what to do, because Lehman Brothers, when it was kind of, the whole world went into recession, the financial structure, ecosystem started crumbling, and almost every retailer started kind of going home. They stopped their business, and we didn't know what to do. But then we said we'll stay. And when you stay during difficult time, then you succeed. Today we are nearly 300,000 crores, 3 lakh crore business hum log kar rahe hain. So because we stayed through that, today we are seeing that success, and the business is growing, and we are succeeding. Similarly, when we started Geo Infocom. So Geo Infocom, when we started in 2010, there was nothing called 4G in operations those days anywhere in the world. All governments were sanctioning actually spectrum, and China is the only country which were actually there trying to apply the spectrum. So that's the time, 2010-11, we took the spectrum. It took very long time. 2017-18, we started actually kind of rolling it out. So how long you stay for a large business to be successful? Sometimes 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. Do you have really that kind of patience to stay to see the success? That is another aspect actually you should look at. And as long as you stay, you are definitely going to succeed. So I was just seeing the last presentation when Madam was talking to you about kind of whether you are creating a gain or reducing the pain for the customer, and that's actually the way to productize your business and see the success. That's a wonderful model. So you are all getting trained now in entrepreneurship. You all have great ideas. My session is on sustainable development goals. I will take you through those sustainable development goals, and since you are a large team coming from all over the country, I'll start making it kind of question answer session rather than making it a monologue. So there is also a small entrepreneur there, a 7-8-year-old, but so he has also an idea to share. Okay, I'll just take you through. So these are the 17 sustainable development goals. So if you see, the first one is no poverty. So no poverty. But no poverty means what? People should have adequate food. They should have a kind of fair clothing, shelter, healthcare, education. But if you see the other goals, like the second is zero hunger. So food sufficiency. And the third one is good health and well-being. And the fourth is education. Fifth is gender equality. Sixth is clean water and sanitation. Seventh is affordable and clean energy. We are starting now a solar business in the Reliance. So solar and hydrogen. Affordable and clean energy. Eighth is decent work and economic growth. Ninth is industry, innovation and infrastructure. 10th is reduced inequalities. 11th is sustainable cities and communities. 12th is responsible consumption and production. 13th is climate action. 14th is life below water. 15th is life on land. 16th is peace, justice and strong institutions. 17th is partnership for the goals. So these are actually the 17 sustainable development goals. For the planet to be sustainable and for all of us to live with prosperity and peace and the organizations to run profitably, these are the 17 goals at the UNO. All the countries, all the intelligentsia, all the thought leaders and the well-wishers of the planet came together and collectively agreed that these 17 goals are very important. So in one side of the world, if you see United States of America, there is very high prosperity. But in the another side of the world, if you see African countries, even in India 30 years ago, we should have similar problem. There is kind of abject poverty. So how the world has to eradicate poverty? What all can help to eradicate poverty? So poverty has a linkage of the economic aspect of the life. So if you are getting employment, you are earning, then only you can be free from poverty. But before you have economic activities and earning, if you see the real product is coming from where? Whatever we consume is coming from the planet. Like the food we consume, the only supplier is actually planet. The clothing we wear, the supply source is planet. The water we drink is the planet. The air we breathe is actually the environment. That's again connected to planet. So everything that is making us peaceful, happy, is actually relating to the planet. So if the planet is protected, and the planet is protected with a sense of equity and fairness, if everybody are getting their share and contributing to the protection of the planet, then only we can sustainably live on this planet. So you must have seen now, yesterday I was reading in newspaper, $100 billion, all the rich countries, they have decided to contribute to the carbon neutrality for the planet. And what it means, like today if you see the consumption of energy, the polluting, the thermal energy in United States of America and other developed countries is much higher. And if you see the countries like us, we are like, now we will be considered kind of developed, not very developed, but kind of less developed. We are not, we have moved from the phase of developing to less developed, but there are very less developed countries like Africa, etc. Now those countries, when they want to start consuming the energy, now the world cannot afford any more carbon increase, because we have been in a situation like because of the pollution, like our air is affected, our water is affected, our climate is affected, the rainfall pattern has changed, the soil quality has changed, so everything has changed for us. Now, if the Africa is or such countries, less developed countries, are prohibited from consuming more carbon, thermal-based energy, and America, which is already developed, they don't support the countries like less developed countries and support them in terms of building ecosystem and infrastructure for renewable energy, then no way these countries can live without consuming again the energy which could be the source, could be the thermal energy, which is coal and oil and gas, etc., which is polluting. So for that, at the global stage now, the developed countries are willing to support the less developed countries, and $100 billion is a very small amount in that scale, for them to not consume the thermal based energy, but start creating the renewable energy. So in this also, Government of India has taken very pioneering effort. So if any of you have startups in renewable energy, so whether it is solar, whether it is hydrogen, or it is wind, or it is kind of hydro power. So all these, or some people are internationally, we have some restriction working on nuclear power. Many other source of energy is coming up. Many are working on biomass. So if you have, any of you have a startup, the time has come, if you do entrepreneurship aligned to the sustainable development goal of the planet, then more likely that you will succeed. Because what happens is, if you see, the businesses have been created based on the need of the people. The most profitable businesses used to be food business. So if you see the food companies of the world, like Nestle, etc., so at a point of time, you will see those companies were most profitable. Even today, they are profitable. So they do business of the food. Now, similarly, you find second businesses were businesses of clothing, where you find very rich industrial houses, they do clothing business. The third, you will see shelter, the real estate. Like you would have seen now all the buildings around you. When this IIT started, all these residential buildings around that, the plotting system all started. So that is actually one of the most profitable businesses. So food, clothing, shelter. And then of late you would have seen companies like Baiju. They are not doing too well now, but at a point of time they became one of the unicorns, fastest unicorns. So education. All the universities, institutes, luckily they are, most of the time it is public institutions, so it's like, doesn't run for profit, in India at least, but in most part of the world also, education is not profit, but education is a very, very profitable business. So if you see in the adjacencies, like the coaching institutes where you practice to come to IIT, like Akash, etc., they are kind of very rich businesses. So food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, again hospitals, pharmaceutical companies. Now if you list out which are the richest companies of the world, they do fundamentally basic businesses: food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare. And then subsequently you found out the businesses which became very rich when you needed for mobility to go from one place to another. So all these kind of petroleum, the oil and gas industry, those also became very, very rich and prosperous. And mobility also made automobile industry very rich and prosperous. Then if you look at the last 100 years or 200 years of the history of the world, you'll find the biggest companies initially will be the food companies. Then there will be clothing companies. There will be shelter, real estate companies. You will find those are, today also if you look at the fortune, the richest, richest people of the world, the richest 500 people of the world, you will find more than 1/3 of them will be the people who are owners of the real estate business. Because these are the basic needs of the world. Now in between you saw all the technology companies became the richest companies, like say Microsoft. I remember in 1978 to 82, if you see all these companies like Microsoft, Cisco, Oracle, they all started. Now what were they doing? They were doing, when the generation of faster information processing was coming up, they were in the front end. So I was working in Wipro, Mr. Premji. So Wipro was an IT services company. So what we are doing, we are getting engineers like you, training them in software development. There were no computer science engineers then. There were electrical engineers, and we are getting Even we have taken mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, civil engineers, trained them in computer science and sent them to US to go and work in computer science. So what was happening? The information age was starting. So when the basic needs of the world was met, now how to know faster? So there was a competition of knowing, and the knowing has the foundation was information. And that is, you saw all the IT companies, all the technology companies, they became the richest companies. Now if you look at in 2000 Google started. So Google is one of $1 trillion company now. They started in 2000. What did they do? People were curious to know. So they started a search engine. So when you are curious, see, one is there is an information you process and give outcome, it's known. But sometimes information is not there in your company, but you have to search the World Wide Web to get intelligent information. So Google spotted that and then started Google, and Google became $1 trillion company. So what did they give you? Search engine. Then came the age of SMARTs. What is SMARTs? Social media, mobility, analytics, cloud, and security. So in that age, you see, Facebook started in 2007-8. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg, like that, I am seeing this boy must be what, 13 or 12? 10. 10, no? So Bill Gates started a Microsoft when he was 13-year-old. You are younger than him. And this guy, Mark Zuckerberg, started Facebook when he was 17-year-old. 16, 17-year-old. 17-year-old. So what happens is, like, if you see, there is history of the world where whenever there is a shift in the needs and the people come and identify that. So Bill Gates will be what? 13-year-old means what? He'll be studying 8th standard? Huh? You are 10th standard. You are older than Bill Gates. Bill Gates started when he was in 8th standard. So what he saw, he said, like, computers are coming. Those days, Unix, Unifier, you remember those mainframe, and we used to have terminals. So the desktop was coming, and Bill Gates spotted out that this desktop needs actually the software. So disk operating system. So there's original disk operating system by IBM, etc. He created MS-DOS. Yeah. So Microsoft DOS disk operating system is started. Then he started doing MS Office. Okay, in MS Office, if you all remember, there was WordStar. So Bill Gates created MS Word. Then there was Lotus 123. Bill Gates created MS Excel. So there was, if you remember, DBase 3, DBase 3 Plus, you will remember DBase 4, Fox Pro. So he started MS Access. So if you see, most of the things was there somewhere or other, but in a far superior way he presented. So that was the era of 2078 to 82. Oracle started also at that time. RDBMS, for the RDBMS. So essentially, when the need comes in the world, when Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook, there the people were wanting to get connected to each other without traveling to their home. So how do they connect? Because he was in the high school, he came to Harvard University, and there he was in the dormitory, in the hostel, and his friends went to different universities. So he cannot travel all over the places to meet them. So how does he connect to each other? So he felt a need and started a Facebook. Facebook was a near $1 trillion company, but has fallen down because he entered into little unrelated areas, kind of XR, AR, VR, etc. But then he will come back, it looks like. So and if you see later, when this Amazon also started in 2000, but what Amazon was doing is, whatever technology was getting created, it was trying to make it easier for the customers to use, and it was making it easier for the customer to get the product, the consumption. So initial companies started by doing food, clothing, shelter, etc. The subsequent companies succeeded by making it easier for you to consume. So if you order food, Amazon will give you faster. If you order clothing, Amazon will give you faster. So whichever could deliver to you faster to gratify you. So you could actually start paying them. And when you paid them, Amazon became $1 trillion company. While all this was happening, if you see that today the most valuable company is Apple. And what does Apple do? Apple does what everybody else does, but it does little differently. So it does differently in terms of design, innovation. It uses all the technologies that is there existing, and sometimes it will take marginally a new frontier of the technology and add it and claim that we have this technology built it into the phone, and when other phones will be 10, 20, 30,000, he will charge you 120,000. And then you will pay happily, the whole world will, 10% of the world, they keep paying Apple kind of 10 times more than the normal smartphone, 10, 12 times. And that continues to be the trillion, now it's nearly $3 trillion. $3 trillion means India's GDP, you all know, over $3 trillion. So Apple's kind of market cap is almost nearer to Indian GDP. So what did they do differently? They did it design differently, they did application of technology differently. So this is the age which has come. The technologies are evolving, and the people who are innovatively applying those technologies for consumption, for doing goods and services which other consumers will use, they are getting substantially higher value. So we are all in that age now. Now your time has come when we are doing it rapidly. If you see Elon Musk, so he has his actually kind of many companies, they all started in PayPal. PayPal was a need for making it easier as a payment gateway, and payments to make payments easier, they started PayPal. They got resources, and then he started a Tesla, which is making like kind of EV cars. You know all what is Tesla now in India. Most of the automobile companies are doing EV cars. And then he also had a space program, so where he started exploring a kind of whether one can go and explore in Mars, etc., whether it is livable and how to make it livable. And he also has something called Neuralink. And then he also has another program called, like he worked in the adjacent areas of EV, like battery, etc. Now, if you see, whenever there is a need, when the new entrepreneur comes, he becomes the richest billionaire of the world. When new entrepreneur comes and fulfills that need, then he becomes successful disproportionately. So for us, for our time now, these sustainable development goals is actually the need of the world. So partly in some or other parts we have met these needs, but there still remains a great opportunity, great scope if we align our whatever technologies we know and the technologies which are coming up. I can briefly share with you what all the technologies are getting applied to these sustainable development goals. So as an individual, you will be benefited. As a society, as a nation, India will benefit, and world as a planet, like we all are together here, so that will also benefit. So let's go quickly over each of some aspects of these goals. So what we have done so far in the world is significant. Like say, for example, if it is quality education, during COVID, the application of technology for kind of virtual education was proven. Okay, this really worked. Like Zoom came, all this Google Meet came. I remember almost every day we were meeting in Mosai, daily twice, all on Google Meet. Webex came, MS Team came. So that was actually need of the hour, how quickly the technologists put it all together, and then that became the vehicle of the education. And we were all kind of working from our home, and students were studying from their home. Professors were kind of teaching them through all these systems. So that actually provided e-learning that was proven. And that industry, it's now over $200 billion. It's growing, the e-learning based education. Clean water and sanitation. Now, we still have some more distance to go in continents like Africa, but in most other parts of the world, the clean water and sanitation, innovation in water management has been significant. Approximately 3 billion people over last 2 decades have benefited by the clean water and sanitation. So that means we as a planet are actually doing well. This is very interesting. Affordable and clean energy and sustainable cities and communities. So if you see the clean energy, I remember in 2007, so our chairman said we'll start a new energy business. So we started solar, a team for solar to research, and a team for kind of other businesses, adjacent businesses. That time solar cost per unit was 15 rupees and the thermal was 2 rupees. Now today if you see solar has gone down to 2 rupees odd paisa, 20 paisa, if you see the bids, and the thermal has become over 3 rupees. So this solar cost has gone down by 90%. We in our kind of house, we have put solar on the rooftop. So we are kind of saving some electricity. So this now Reliance also is coming up very big way in the solar business. And you must have seen all other entrepreneurs, they are investing heavily in the new energy business where they are trying solar, hydrogen, wind, biomass. So that is substantially contributing to kind of electricity generation capacity. Till 2019, it was almost 27% was from the renewable energy. Now there is a goal to make it kind of almost carbon neutral, to stop consuming the thermal like coal or gas based energy, so that we don't add to the pollution of the planet. So all these, like if you see sustainable cities and communities, Bhubaneswar is a smart city. This is a little outskirts of Bhubaneswar, but still it has similar facilities. And I was listening to some of my friends. The government has central government has a lot of interest in IIT Bhubaneswar, and they want to support. Niger is there, IIT Bhubaneswar is here. This almost is becoming like the education city, education side of kind of education center of Odisha, and of course these are all Indian national level institutions. So that is possible only because of the smart city concept. Otherwise this was actually completely, I remember in our childhood days, I can never imagine I'll come to this place ever for education from Bhubaneswar. So for us, Bhubaneswar was like some 5, 7, 8, 10 kilometers radius, and we said it's too far, if it is beyond 10 kilometers. Today we came nearly 30 kilometers. So now today, because of technology, because of innovation, because of dreaming, because of ideating that you can go beyond the borders, you can cross the frontiers. So here you have IIT, and you have all the smart city benefits are getting extended. You have network, you have electricity, you have road, you have water, everything is provided for. So there are 1,000 cities worldwide who have implemented climate action plan. What is happening now? Like there is a competition among cities in every municipality for getting their ESG scores. ESG is environment, social and governance. So governments like if you see now there is a competition among corporations, like how my ESG score will be better, how I'll be consuming less carbon, and if I'm consuming carbon, how do I make it neutral by actually kind of generating renewable energy, or reduction in certain areas which is allocated to me, so that I bring in carbon neutrality, or I plant trees. Those are the competitions among corporations. Similarly, you will see almost like 1,000 cities of the world, those who are contributing to carbon, they are competing among themselves by leveraging technologies, that how they become carbon neutral. So we talked about clean energy. Now food security, when the population keeps on increasing, we are now over 7 billion people on the planet and increasing. And when we started saying when we were much smaller in population, that there will be a food problem. Now this food problem with the innovation, science, technologies, like the food problem we are able to solve, but still there are certain pockets of the world where the food security as a problem remains. So in urban cities, etc., people are not trying vertical farming. This like apparently looks kind of impossible, but some people are trying. They're innovating, like can I produce what I consume? clean water we discussed about. And Government of India has stayed up to date in terms of the global mission on sustainable development goals. So if you see these years, Atal Innovation Mission or that you are part of this program, many of you would have experienced Atal Innovation Mission as a startup, the benefits of that. There is Gram Swaraj Abhijan to do some programs in the rural area, the entrepreneurs, to encourage entrepreneurs from the rural area. Jal Jeevan Mission about the water security, and the National Hydrogen Energy Mission. So we are also researching on to create a hydrogen energy. Like you must have seen some time ago, there was in the news, like we started with Ashok Leyland's, that truck moving on hydrogen energy, kind of that system created by us. So we are researching into that area. So hydrogen, solar, these kind of sources of energy will provide to the development goals. So again, Government of India has National Digital Health Mission, Electricity Mobility Mission, a National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, and National Quantum Mission. What government is trying to do, like as you compete as individuals, so in the world countries compete. So you see quantum computing is one area. Second area is the lithium battery, the storage energy, or the solar module kind of production. If you see today, 80% of the solar modules, they're actually produced in China. So if one country, when the nearly 1/3 of the energy, new energy is coming from the renewable energy, and one country is contributing 80% of solar energy modules, then there is a disproportionate benefit to that country. And second is in the storage lithium based batteries. So China has a very, very high kind of, they took an early position, invested in lithium in South America and African countries, and they are in a very strong position. So countries compete, so that one way it is very good for China, but in another way for other countries, those who are competing with China or the neighboring countries, apparently it's an insecure position to be in. So similarly in semiconductor. So these are for the national security. What Government of India has always done is, whether energy security or in the chips, semiconductor side, Professor Dogra and other professors will know, how in the semiconductor side, government has a lot of kind of investment in the chips design, etc. So all these areas are actually, since government is doing, if we align our startup mission to that, so everything kind of becomes synchronized. Like that's the need of the planet, need of the government, and we as individuals contribute to that mission. So how all these things you are seeing today is happening, it is happening in a much easier manner than earlier because of these technologies. So in 2014, I remember McKinsey came up with 12 disruptive technologies, and they said that 30% of the almost $30 trillion new wealth will get created by the emerging technologies. So that time, world's GDP was some $78 trillion. So $30 trillion means almost like what? 40% of world's wealth will get created, new wealth will get created or transferred to those new technologies. So that time they had listed 12 technologies, some of these technologies are here. So they had listed AI, ML. So in 2014, if you talk to people about AI, ML, it was actually in the academic book. But nobody had so far truly at a product level or at any common man had not experienced AI. But today, whatever you are using, whether you are using your phone or search engine or chat GPT or Bing search if you are doing, you are actually one way or other using AI, ML. Now during this period, if you see how much wealth has been created by AI, ML, so that time McKinsey had said it will be almost like in 10 years, $3 to $4 trillion new wealth will get created. And you all are the technologists and professors are here, directors are here. So AI, ML, anything you do today, if you are not developing your product with AI, ML embedded in it, probably it looks like kind of old generation. It is no more a kind of novelty, it is like a necessity. The second is cloud and edge computing. That's another technology which is accelerating that all that we talked about towards sustainable development goal or wealth creation is cloud and edge computing. Third is the blockchain. I'm not going into these technologies because I am presuming you will be knowing these technologies. So even I am neither an engineer nor a science student, but I read them because we use that in business. I build teams in all these areas. So I am kind of presuming you will all know this. AR and VR in another area, augmented reality and virtual reality, where the substantial kind of work is happening. Yeah. Facebook has taken very high lead to bring it to all of us as their experiences. Now this new phone is coming, iPhone, that is also kind of, they have a claim of integrating AR, VR in that. The quantum computing will do everything faster. I remember Bill Gates had written a book when he was around 2000, when he was the kind of at the peak of his career, that action at the speed of thought. So action at the speed of thought. So action to be at the speed of thought, only quantum computing can make it possible. So quantum computing is now moving from academic world to application world. What 2014-15 people are talking about AI, ML. So now people are talking about quantum computing. So you will see after some time the quantum machines, quantum computing frameworks, quantum computing stack, everything will be available. So those who are in the startup, you should keep an eye on that. Internet of Things is another technology. You all know sensor-based technology that for all the autonomous vehicles, etc., people have started using. Advanced robotics is rapid use now in the entire supply chain ecosystem. Autonomous vehicles, you must be reading some of in non-passenger areas in India also. There are people using autonomous vehicles for some of that agriculture, mining, etc. They have started experimenting. So these are the new technologies which can help in achieving sustainable development goals. 3D printing. So there is a company in China that's name is Shein. So they do, like if you order a kind of something, you order a dress material, they take 7 days to deliver to you. So they, depending on whatever, they first give a design on their website. You say, you need this design. That dress is not actually existing today. So moment you choose that you want that, in 7 days time, they get the fabrics, stitch it, and deliver to you at your home. And how do they do it in 7 days? And they are actually fastest growing and richest apparel business today in the world. Shein. They are in every country. Government of India didn't allow them to operate in India, so they have gone out of India, but they are in most other countries, almost every country of the world. Now they are talking about in 3 days, from the time you order, in 3 days, they will get the fabrics, they will stitch it, and they will deliver to you at your home. How is it possible? So the technologies like 3D printing, etc., can make these things possible. So when you use AI, ML, 3D printing, and all these newer technologies, it is possible. And when they're doing it, they say they will make it sustainably. So they will make it with carbon neutrality. Now today in the Europe and in the Western world, if you don't certify how much you are actually kind of contributed to carbon neutrality, your product gets that much underrated. So you must tell how you are actually contributing to carbon neutrality. So advanced material research, which has helped in many areas. We have less time. Solar energy I talked about. Hydrogen based energy I talked about. We are now currently actually researching and building a team to start doing it in India. Similarly, many other companies are doing it. Next generation genomics is contributing to significantly healthcare. So I remember Map My Genome was an Indian company. They used to do Genome Patri. Anu Acharya. So I know her when she started her company. She's from IIT Kharagpur, sir. So when she started her company, she came and met me and we were discussing and she said this is what she's going to do. So now they are all over the India, they are kind of in a significant position, world over also. In 94, Map My Genome as a process not Map My Genome, genomics as a process started. So in genomics, the data processing used to be so heavy. If you have to do the genetic mapping of an individual, it costed you few $1 million in 1994. Today, it costs you 12,000 rupees. So when it was few $1 million, only the rich and prosperous, those who have money, lot of money, they could afford. But today, even a common man can actually afford to do his genes mapping and get medicines according to his genes. So those kind of things have done substantial advancement for the healthcare. Space technologies, you all know, Elon Musk is in the forefront of it, and many other governments, NASA, etc., are trying. Most of these goals, we saw 17 goals, they have interconnectedness. So if you are contributing to kind of advancement in technologies and reducing hunger, you are also reducing poverty. If you are contributing to the clean energy, similarly you are contributing to many other aspects of the planet. So these are all interconnected, and this talks about how collectively all these technologies and all these independent goals can actually be addressed. These are case study how in Africa kind of continent where there is no, like our kind of electricity supply, off-grid solar is helping them to meet their energy needs. Vertical farming we talked about, urban areas some people are trying. Mobile health technologies, we had in our country during COVID time many mobile applications, and we are doing like kind of spot check whether I am in the area where the COVID affected patients are there or not. So we had started one in Odisha. Dr. Dogra was on the advisory board, and then Government of India started its own mobile app, and then you all have experienced it. So this is talking about entrepreneurs like you. How do they start companies aligned to the sustainable development goals, either relating to water, electricity, pollution in the air or soil, or agriculture, better agriculture techniques, carbon neutrality. So how they can create jobs. While creating jobs, they can create to the good health of the planet. And this is here, it lists out RIL initiatives. What is RIL doing in terms of the sustainable development goals? RIL is my company, Reliance Industries Limited. So we have many programs in these areas. So we have a project Jagruti that is to uplift and bring dyslexic students from the underprivileged segment into the mainstream by treating them and supporting them. Empowering women. So strengthening women entrepreneurs across rural India by creating a battery of rural women leaders who then lead and support their communities to solve some of the most complex challenges. So we work with the farmers and also the women in the rural area. New energy, I talked about how we are starting a new energy business with solar, hydrogen, etc. So that will contribute to carbon neutrality. We are investing over $10 billion. That's what our chairman talked about in this space. Transforming rural economies by market linkage. So when the farmers are producing today, they don't get enough income for their produce because they don't know who to sell to. So providing the platform to them like, GeoMart and etc. and sourcing from them their produce and supplying to consumers like you. Reliance Foundation Social Initiative Education for All is a substantial program helping in scholarship, etc., to less privileged children. Reliance Model Economic Township we have started where, in a carbon neutral and sustainable manner. Creating, supporting and encouraging leaders of tomorrow. So we have many entrepreneurship development programs where we encourage people like you to come and participate and be supported. So like this, Reliance has on its own many programs. Yeah. So my topic was innovation for SDG. Because there is less time and too much to cover on 17 sustainable goals and technologies applying in that goal, I little hurried up. But I want to leave some time for question answer if you have. Essentially, if you draw a conclusion, the theme of this presentation is, like if you start something which is timely and aligned to the need of the planet and the people, then you have a much higher success, higher chances of success than otherwise. That is number one. So what you start. Second is when you start, if you don't strive like do or die, like if you see any entrepreneur of the world, whether it is Dhirubhai Ambani or Azim Premji or Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos, if you see any of the entrepreneurs of the world, they have never been tentative in their approach. Their life is their startup. Their life is their work. So you must strive to succeed. And most important, even if after starting and striving halfway, just before reaching the goal, you give up, then there is no success. So most important is stay at it. So, and sustainable development goal is kind of a reference point for you to choose what problem of the world you can solve, what goal of the planet you can contribute to, and which technology. We talked about the 14 odd technologies, that is actually kind of emerging technologies. How do you apply, what do you apply, and how do you create a gain for your customer and or reduce their pain from the previous presentation, so that you are really successful as entrepreneurs. So if you have any questions, we can respond. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. So let's quickly get some questions. Chalo.
Yeah. Yes.
Can we have further information if people like us, if we wanted to connect and take benefit of those support extended by you, how can we connect further?
So the best is like if it is general information seeking, the website will give all information. If there is a specific program participation, so there is generally program kind of published. Most of the programs are published. But if you need any special kind of attention to that, you can write to me. I'll connect you to the foundation and other initiative owners within the Reliance ecosystem.
Thank you so much, sir.
Question.
Sir, how can an individual contribute in achieving SDGs?
Yeah, so if you see sustainable development goals, it starts from hunger to poverty. But if you say food, clothing, shelter, to air, to soil, to everything about the planet. Each day, every day, by our activity, either we are adding carbon or reducing carbon. If you are planting a tree, you are reducing carbon. Dr. Dogra has planted a lot of trees. And the rainy season has come, we will plant more. I am today planting 1,500 trees. Actually, I was coming, so he was with me. So somebody called me, sir, 400 trees we have planted. I said 1,500 target. So as an individual, whatever you could do, I am giving a small example. But when you make your mainstream livelihood, say, I am doing a corporate job, but there is a person who is working in UNO's climate initiative program. So his job and his contributing to SDG is all aligned. Similarly, if you are a startup entrepreneur, if you are doing a startup which is contributing to any of these SDGs, anything we do will cover under these SDGs. and doing it neutrally. Either you are doing neutral or you are positive. Then you are actually contributing SDG. I'll give an example. I work with a startup, I mentor them. So they work on simple supply chain solution. So they do a product profiling. So when a product is coming inside the warehouse, they profile it. So they figured it out. The box will be big. Sometimes in Amazon you will order, or any of the e-commerce companies will order. A big box will come with a small packet inside. To see how much has been wasted in terms of the volume, the space. It has been carried by a truck, it has been kept in a warehouse. Somebody has brought and delivered in your home. Everybody consumed energy. Everybody consumed kind of the water, electricity. So all those are actually unnecessarily was adding to the kind of negative carbon, positive pollution. So what they came up with a program, if you are profiling the product and intelligently designing the packaging, so rather than putting a big box, a small product, if it is just in time, just in size, then it comes to your home, ट्रक का स्पेस कम जाता है और जो लेके आता है उसमें कम जाता है, जो कंज्यूम किया जो बॉक्स का जो मटेरियल वो भी कम खर्चा होता है. So like that they thought, and their goal was how can they contribute to actually carbon neutrality and SDG goals, and they themselves thought through that this is the way we will contribute to the SDGs by reducing by effectively using warehouse space, transportation space. They do transportation truck optimization and also the packaging space. So that's the way. Now what startup you do?
Sir, it's a service.
Like give me an example.
Sir, it is for the old age people who are like living in NGOs and old age homes.
See, just see that has goals. This SDG, if you check now, many goals are there. So whenever I come to Odisha, I go to my village. I have built a small house in my village and I like to stay there. I come to Bhubaneswar for meetings, but I go back to my village to stay there. Today also I came from my village. It is 55 kilometers from here. And there I am seeing all the children, all the young people, they have left the village. All the old people are staying in the village. Now there is nobody to attend to them. Like my mother is 90-year-old. So she was with us in Bombay and earlier in Bangalore. She said, I'll stay in the village. Now I said, there is nobody to attend to people in the village.
Yes, sir, that is our problem statement.
So that is a social problem. Now, if somebody will attend to the elder people, she can also make a living out of it. So it is helping older people. It is also helping somebody who is giving caregivers. He or she can make a living out of it. So if you see, you can connect to many goals relating to healthcare, hunger, those aspects into the SDGs. Everything can get connected to the 17 SDGs. Anything you do. And there is an adjacent topic called ESG, Environment, Social and Governance. This is direct contribution to the social aspect of the society. Like if, somebody told me today, there was a cancer patient. So I had got her admitted into Acharya Harihar hospital. They're very poor. They don't have money. So one of my friends said that they will get a free healthcare service. And then somebody has to attend to her, so stay with her from her family. So her son was staying with her. No, first her granddaughter was staying. So she does a job in Hyderabad. So she can't stay months together. So she left. So she asked her father to stay with the older lady. And then the father said, after staying for a week or so, he said, this hospital is taking longer time for a treatment, so I can't stay so long. So my son's school admission is there, college admission. So he took the old lady without informing anybody and went away to the village. Now she is suffering from cancer. Now that's a cancer which is curable. But that is curable if she stays in the hospital and gets treated. But he didn't stay. He just left. So I called him. I said, why did you take away the old lady? We had arranged everything. We have kind of mission, so we arranged everything. Even I personally gave 10,000 rupees for the other expenses. And the treatment is completely free. Then I said, why did you take her away? He said, my son's admission is there. I said, your mother brought you to the planet for you to bring your son, or your son brought you to the planet. So the person who brought you to the planet, you should first attend to her, or to go and attend to her, your son. That's what actually he was with me. I said, oh, your son's admission, anybody could have arranged. But now this old lady, halfway to the treatment, you took her away. See, it's very difficult to understand unless we become parents and experience. It is very difficult to understand the parents. So, as children, we used to read a story. So, Ajat-Satru. So, Ajat-Satru, Bimbisar. So, Ajat-Satru is putting Bimbisar into the prison. And then when he is getting a son, he gets ecstatic pleasure. Somebody comes and tells, Ki, you have got a son. So, he becomes so happy. He says, my father would have been so happy when I was born. So how could I put him in the prison? So he goes running, to the prison. And by the time he goes, because he had put his father in a prison, supplying no food, so that man, Bimbisar had died, suppose, starved of death. He starved to die. So he had lost his father. So by the time we realize the contribution of parents, we would have got old. And by that time, we realize they're gone. So what you are doing is a direct contribution to the social aspect of ESG. And ESG is actually complementary to social, SDG.
Is there any awareness program for school level children?
In regard to SDG?
Yeah.
See, currently if you see any textbook, they are giving either SDG or reflections of SDG. Yeah. If you, this is part of course curriculum. It essentially depends on how much seriousness you are inculcating in them. Like I remember my son when he was small and he was going to school, if we do anything which according to him is not kind of permissible, he will stop us. Ki, this is not carbon neutral, this is you are kind of polluting the planet. Like he was a small child, maybe 10, 12-year-old, because in their school, they were emphasizing again and again and again that the planet is as important as our personality is in regard to the sustainability of our lives. So like we take care of our health, we must take care of the planet. So it depends on how much we are inculcating in the students. Otherwise, it's there in the textbook. Yes. I agree completely.
So it's actually a question and my concern actually. How far we can take care of all those 17 sustainable development goals? The reason being that when we take care of one goal, it comes in conflict with other. For example, I can say that we are promoting the electric vehicles. That is replacing the use of fossil fuels. That is replacing the use of coal. Obviously, on one hand, we are taking care of clean energy, we are taking care of reducing the pollution, but at the same time, that is also increasing the electricity consumption. Till now, our usage of thermal power is 60%, more than 60% till now. So, what do you think, how far it will take time, the government of India to create a kind of infrastructure that we can actually take care of all the SDGs in consonance with each other? Because when one goal is being taken care of, that is creating conflict with the other.
If you really look at the data, like how much renewable energy is getting generated, 27% was till 2019. But if you see the investment in the world in kind of renewable energy, more so in solar especially, and hydrogen of late is starting, it is enormous. It will be, if you look at the exact statistics and the predictions, it is apparently solvable in terms of that specific goal. You can today also go and either Google or ChatGPT, they will give you what exactly the data, how much the world needs power, and how much the power is going to get generated from the renewable energy, and what kind of infrastructure capacity world over is getting created in that. And you will get the answer in next, by 2040-45, it will be completely, you can be renewable energy. You don't need carbon, you don't need thermal, etc. Keeping that aside, there are many other new technologies are also developing in this space. Keeping that aside, what happens now? Sometimes if you see in completeness, you see from the overall perspective. Like there could be apparent conflict here and there, but if you see from the overall perspective, when the life is at threat, when you must have seen when COVID came, government said don't step out of your home, we stopped stepping out. Apparently it is impossible that you live in the house without stepping out. I remember I lived in my flat in Bombay exactly 365 days, even coming out of my room to the, I live in 3rd floor, even to the ground floor. I used to see my park from outside and I was not going there because it was restriction was there almost a year till the second thing came. Now that time what I was doing my exercise inside the flat. I was doing everything inside the flat. And food we are ordering kind of from the food material like rice, dal, etc. from one of these e-commerce companies, and that was coming, keeping it in a place which is sanitized. So we all, apparently it was impossible, but when life was at threat, we all lived up to that requirement. So some of them will apparently look conflicting, apparently will look impossible, but life is at threat.
Actually, what I try to say, कि instead of looking at Z first, we could have looked at A first. For reducing poverty, we want industries. Here also we have gathered to promote the startup. Whatever startup will coming, they will be depending on the electricity generation only. They will be using the electricity. On the one hand, they would be providing the employment, but at the cost of the environment. So my question is that government could have given a lot of emphasis from the beginning on the infrastructure only, on using the renewable energy instead of this coal-powered energy, so that by the time we could have developed this infrastructure, lots of life we could have lost, lots of damage which is irreversible that could have been suffered by us.
That's true.
That I am saying.
No, that's true. Anything one could have done would have been better. I agree with you.
Yeah. So I think we have a couple of more sessions after this one. We'll conclude this session. Those who have queries, they can come to sir after this talk during the tea break, and then we can continue the discussion. So now I would request Purvi ji to felicitate Vijay sir for his wonderful talk. So we'll go for a short tea break. We'll assemble around 4:30. So there is one I-card, B. Harshvardhan, DAV Public School, NTPC, TTPS. Please collect your I-card. Where is he? D. Harshvardhan?
The attendance, we'll have the attendance session after this tea breaks. So requested everyone to be there.